that, we're going to start off with some brand new music from a singer-songwriter who by day is also one of the country's leading cancer specialists and also a professor at Queen's University here in Belfast. He's Dr. Joe O'Sullivan, and he's just released a brand new album to raise money for Friends of the Cancer Centre. It's called Instead of Many Shades of Blue, and here's one of the tracks from the album. This is Dr. Joe Sullivan and I've Decided.
And I've decided to break the silence and bravely call your name, and like a lonely lovesick siren wail for you. I'm not denying I crossed the lion's share of minds before I let you really see another side of me. And I'm awake, my soul's on fire. I'm on my way, I'm burning with desire. I'm awake and I'm on my way. And I'm relying on my gentle ways to stop in tracks a soul-destroying hammer blow inside of me. So I've decided to rewind our deal and call to you in multicolors instead of many shades of blue. And I'm awake, my soul's on fire. I'm on my way, I'm burning with desire. I'm awake and I'm on my way. And I'm awake, my soul's on fire. I'm on my way, I'm burning with desire. I'm awake and I'm on my way.
So that's a great track from Joe O'Sullivan. That's called I've Decided, from his new album, which is called Instead of Many Shades of Blue. And I'm pleased to say that the man himself joins us now on the line. Joe, how are you?
Great, Robin. Thanks so much. Yeah, really good.
Now, I'm loving your backdrop. Usually we see people with their bookcases in the background, but you've got a lovely piano there.
Yeah, this for my music calls. For my medical calls, I have the nice library behind me. But for you especially, the piano.
Now, you lead this double life. By day, you are a cancer specialist. You're a consultant, a prostate cancer oncologist at the Northern Ireland Cancer Centre. And by night, you're a singer-songwriter. So when do you get all this time to do the music side of things?
Yeah, it's challenging, but actually, I suppose I prioritise a lot of my free time in order to play music. And also, I find music is a really, really great way to relax, and especially the piano here behind me. Coming home from a busy day at work, it's absolutely a great way to relax. So helps me relax, and then I find that just playing music, I find it to be really, really enjoyable, and especially the creative side. So I fit it in. I prioritize it.
So tell us about your new album. You're raising money for Friends of the Cancer Centre, aren't you?
That's right. So, I mean, this is my third original album, studio album. So I always try to give the Friends of the Cancer Centre, which is my favourite charity, give them a bit of publicity and use a bit of my profile to give them a bit of publicity and also raise some funds. So my previous two albums also raised funds for them. So the album itself is the third studio album, and it's probably the most personal one to date, I think.
Tell us about the song that we've just heard, I've Decided.
Yeah, so that's a song about really being decisive. It's about facing up to different challenges. And for me, some of that was coming through, difficult times in relationships and that type of thing. And so it's about sort of taking charge and realizing that actually you have the power within yourself. If you really think about things and reason things out, you can figure it out. And that in my own day job, being decisive and making decisions is really bread and butter. And a lot of people, I think, in their own personal lives forget that you can do that. You can use your brain, you can decide things, you can think about it and reason it out. So it's really about that.
Now, in your day job at the moment, there must be a lot of pressure, especially with people going through cancer treatment or waiting for cancer treatment with all the COVID-19 stuff going on.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, a cancer diagnosis is tough at the best of times, but when you're being told that your treatment might be delayed or there may be some interruption to your treatment, it just adds a whole other layer of stress. Plus, a lot of cancer patients are in their older years, which makes them a bit more vulnerable. Plus, some of the treatments we give, especially chemotherapy, can reduce the immune system. So it's a time of great stress. But I must say we've got a fantastic team here in Belfast, and we've really tried our very best to manage our cancer patients. I've been doing lots of virtual clinics like this on Zoom and on phone. And we've really been trying to make sure our cancer patients feel looked after. And hopefully we're starting to ramp the services back up now. So we're feeling good about that, but it's been tough.
And what about Friends of the Cancer Centre? They must be needed more now than ever before.
Very much so. And I think a lot of charities are suffering at the moment. They really do depend on people fundraising for them. So various events, for example, the Belfast Marathon would normally generate a lot of money for Friends of the Cancer Centre. Of course, it was cancelled, and many smaller events like that as well. So I think we're really going to have to think about how we're going to fund these charities, and hopefully we'll have a major campaign of funding once we get society running again. But I think you're right, charities are desperately needed. The UK Health Service really needs the charitable sector to fund the extra things, but in the case of Friends of the Cancer Centre, they also fund research, some personnel, some equipment. So I think that's going to be absolutely needed more than ever.
Your first couple of albums raised around £10,000 for the charity, didn't they?
Yeah, so they raised probably something around that money directly from sales of the album, but we also feel it probably generated some good publicity for the charity as well, some media coverage and some good profile, and it gave me a chance as well in interviews to sort of talk about the charity and talk about what they do. So I've been working with that charity for 16 years now. I'm very passionate about it, so it's a good for me. It's a way of giving something back as well as from my pastime of music. So.
Now, there's some great players on the new album, isn't there? Sam Davidson and Albert Mills.
Yeah. These are great guys. So Lynn McMullen on drums, Sam Davidson on guitar, and Albert Mills on bass. Absolutely fantastic guys. I've worked with Lynn and Sam now for a good few years, and Albert is a new addition. I mean, these are absolutely great, especially Irish rock and blues kind of guys, and Sam is just a sensational guitar player. So to me, to work with guys like that, they really helped me as somebody who's learning the trade, I guess, at this stage of my life. They've been so generous with their time. They play all the gigs. They do everything for free for charity. They're really wonderful fellows.
So would rock and blues have been your big musical influences over the years?
I think probably more folk rock, I would think. So more Bob Dylan, and then when I was growing up down south, U2 especially would have been a huge influence on me. So Bob and U2, and then the Beatles as well. And all the guys, even though they're Irish rockers, they're all big Beatles fans. And that has a big influence on me with regards to the type of guitar arrangements and especially the harmonies. And I love harmonies. And my son, Oisín, who sings on this album as well, he's really good at harmonizing, especially with my voice. I love that kind of Beatles feel.
So do you remember the first song that you heard on the radio that really stood out and you thought, my God, I want to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, 11 O'Clock TikTok, which is a U2 song from their very first album. And I remember listening to it, it just blew my mind. Just the delays in the guitar, the echo in the guitar, the passion in the voice. And the fact that, as a 10 or 11-year-old young fella down south, that an Irish band could make such a fantastic sound. It really blew my mind at the time.
Once lockdown is over and you're back to normal, will you be out gigging?
Oh, most definitely, yes. I think like all musicians, I'm just absolutely dying to get back playing live again. And the plan with this album, we had planned to do a small Irish theatre tour, Belfast, Derry, Galway, Dublin, Cork. Obviously had to put that on hold for the COVID, but very determined to get that back up and running once we see some light at the end of this tunnel, I hope.
So how do people get a hold of the new album?
Yeah, well, there's a few ways. Well, probably the easiest way, if they want to get a hard copy album, is to go to friendsofthecancercentre.com/shop, and they'll find the album there. Plus, they can look at sharpmusic.com. They also have it. And then, of course, all the usual streaming platforms, it's available as well.
So we're standing by for another track from the new album. This one's called With the Reason. What's the story behind this one?
Yeah, this is probably one of the more upbeat kind of tracks on the album, and it involves the full band, including Oisín and all the guys. And this is one, again, which is really about trying to figure out, and I think it's probably quite relevant to these times during COVID, that when you're dealing with difficult situations, sometimes you have to really figure out what gets you out of bed, what motivates you, what are your priorities in life. And to me, this was digging deep inside myself during difficult periods in my life, and really thinking that actually I can think my way out of this. I can use something which is reason. For some people, it might be their faith. For other people, it might be using their brain. It's whatever gets you out of a rut. And I think a lot of people during this crisis will be stuck. They'll be stuck in a routine which is not what they like to do. They're not able to socialize. So this is a song about digging deep, figuring it out yourself, and using, in this case, reason to get out of trouble.
So let's hear the new song With the Reason from the new album Instead of Many Shades of Blue. Joe, thank you so much for joining us, and the very best of luck with the album.
Robin, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Great talking to you.
It's still bright, but I'm far from where I saw the sun rising slowly and naked. Now sunlight's had its day, and I am on my own. With the reason I stayed tonight, with the reason I stayed tonight, with the reason I'm strong inside. And this reason I realized in the corners of my mind survive. And the corners of my mind don't lie. Moonlight showed the way while I got on and cried, just lost in your fragrance. and me you will find in another world, with the reason I stayed tonight. With the reason I stayed tonight. With the reason I'm strong inside. And this reason I've realized in the corners of my mind. Survive. And the corners of my mind don't lie. With the reason I stayed tonight. With the reason I'm strong inside. And this reason I've realized in the corners of my mind. Survive. And the corners of my mind don't lie. In the corners of my mind, survive. And the corners of my mind don't lie. In the corners of my mind, survive. And the corners of my mind don't lie.